Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend those casual conversations with some insightful discussions on the latest tech and gadgets. It's been like a wild week in tech, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster, that's for sure.
We've got everything from like a major social media shakeup to like the next generation of gaming consoles.
It's true.
I mean, that's what makes this industry so exciting, right?
Absolutely. Always something new around the corner, never a dull moment.
Exactly. And speaking of unexpected, today we are diving deep into the TikTok ban fallout.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how the Supreme Court upheld that law making TikTok illegal in the U.S. starting this Sunday, January 19th, 2025?
Oh, wow. This Sunday. It's really happening.
It's been a long legal battle, and now the deadline is finally here.
I know. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, and the concerns around, data security and potential influence from the Chinese government, that's ultimately what led to this decision.
Right.
But what going dark truly means for TikTok, that's still pretty murky.
Yeah, it's like, will it really just vanish from our phones this Sunday?
Like, poof, gone.
Who knows?
I mean, the whole thing has definitely sent shockwaves through the tech world, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But you know what I find interesting?
What's that?
While some American users are, like, deleting the app, like, right now in anticipation, others are scrambling to find alternatives.
Makes sense. Gotta get that video fixed somewhere.
And the current frontrunner, Red Note, also known as Yahongshu.
Oh, yeah, Red Note. I've heard of that.
Another app from China.
Oh, the irony.
Right. It's like a digital game of musical chairs, but everyone's, like, rushing to the same seat.
Yeah, that's kind of funny when you think about it.
But let's be real. Red Note isn't exactly a TikTok clone, so there is a definite learning curve there.
Totally different vibe.
It's got this cool Pinterest-like layout and a big focus on social shopping.
Interesting.
Imagine all those TikTokers used to those quick, catchy videos suddenly trying to navigate a Chinese language app, like focused on product recommendations.
Whoa, that's a big jump.
I know. And speaking of learning curves, there's been this fascinating side effect to this whole Red Note migration.
What's that?
Duolingo has reported a, wait for it, 216% increase in new Mandarin learners in the U.S. since last year.
Wow, are you serious?
I'm dead serious. And get this, with a huge spike coinciding with Red Note's rise in popularity.
So people are, like, learning Mandarin just to use an app?
That's what it seems like. I mean, I can barely keep up with my Spanish Duolingo lessons, and that's for a trip I'm taking next month.
That's dedication.
It really makes you wonder, though, is this like a temporary surge in language learning driven by a trendy app? Or are we seeing a larger shift in how people are engaging with different cultures through tech?
It's a good question. I guess time will tell.
I think so, too. But hey, at least someone's benefiting from this whole TikTok ban drama, right?
Yeah, you gotta look at the bright side.
Duolingo must be loving all this, like, free publicity.
Oh, for sure. They're probably seeing a huge boost in downloads.
But it's not just language learning apps that are seeing an opportunity here.
Interesting. What else is going on?
Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank guy.
Yeah, I know Mark Cuban.
Well, he's expressed interest in funding a homegrown TikTok alternative, so an American-made version.
Oh, wow, that's big news.
And guess what?
What?
He's looking at building it on Bluesky's AT protocol.
Okay, hold on. Gotta break that down for me a bit.
Yeah, so you've probably heard of Bluesky.
Vaguely, isn't it? Like that Twitter alternative.
You're right. It's aiming to be a decentralized version of Twitter.
Okay.
And the AT protocol is what makes that possible.
Right.
It's a bit technical, but imagine a social media platform where you, the user, have more control over your data and how the platform operates instead of a big corporation, calling all the shots.
So like taking power away from big tech and giving it back to the people.
Exactly.
Like a pretty bold idea, but kind of confusing. Is that something the average person even wants?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, it's definitely a more complex approach than just like downloading an app and hitting follow.
For sure. But the potential benefits are huge, especially when it comes to data privacy and user control.
I see that.
And with someone like Mark Cuban throwing his weight behind it, it's definitely a project worth watching.
Absolutely.
Okay. But before we get too lost in the world of decentralized social media, what else is going on in the tech world?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, we've got Nintendo making moves, Sonos hitting some sour notes, and a big oof from United Health.
Ooh, sounds juicy. Let's unpack those headlines.
All right, so for all you gamers out there, Nintendo finally dropped the Switch 2.
Finally.
Think bigger console, bigger display, a sleek new design, and Joy-Con controllers that actually work.
No more drift.
Hopefully, no more drift.
It seems like they've gone for, like, evolution over revolution with this one.
Which honestly isn't a bad thing. Sometimes a little polish is all you need.
True. True.
However, over at Sonos, it seems like their latest polished job kind of backfired.
Oh, no, what happened?
The CEO is stepping down after a software update that landed with a thud.
Oh, that's rough.
The update was riddled with bugs, removed some beloved features, and just generally left users feeling frustrated.
Oof. Yeah. Classic case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And finally, we have a story that's less about shiny new gadgets and more about a serious breach of trust.
Oh.
United Health is being accused of trying to sweep a massive data breach under the rug.
Seriously? What happened?
Remember that ransomware attack on Change Healthcare last year?
Vaguely, remind me.
Well, it turns out millions of people's sensitive health data was compromised in that attack, and United Health, which owns Change Healthcare, allegedly knew about it for months but kept it quiet.
Yikes, that's not good.
Not good at all. I mean, data breaches are becoming, like, scarily common these days.
That's true. It's a big problem.
But trying to hide them is just, like, adding insult to injury, you know? Transparency is key, especially when it comes to sensitive information like health records.
Absolutely. This situation really highlights the importance of data security and the responsibility companies have to protect our information.
Right. It's a sobering reminder that while we're busy debating the pros and cons of TikTok and Bluesky, there are some serious issues lurking beneath the surface of the tech world.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, it's a really good point. We, like, get so caught up in the latest trends and gadgets that we sometimes forget about the bigger picture.
Right.
Data security, privacy, corporate responsibility. Those are things we can't afford to ignore.
No, absolutely not. And this whole TikTok ban, it really raises some interesting questions about those very topics.
It's not just about finding a new app to, like, watch funny videos or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about who controls our data, how governments influence the tech landscape, and, what the future of social media might actually look like.
Big questions.
This whole thing could reshape the entire social media landscape, couldn't it?
Potentially.
TikTok's gone, and now there's this power vacuum. Who's
Yeah.
going to fill it?
That's a good question. And the answer might not be as straightforward as we think.
What do you mean?
Well, will Red Note, the Chinese alternative, will it become the new king? Will a homegrown competitor like the one Mark Cuban's considering, will that rise to the challenge?
Or are we headed for, like, a more fragmented ecosystem with smaller platforms catering to niche interests?
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
So instead of one giant platform like TikTok, we might end up with a bunch of smaller apps, each focusing on different things.
Interesting.
Kind of like how cable TV gave way to streaming services.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, actually.
Right.
But it also, raises the question, is that a good thing or a bad thing? More choice can be great.
But
But it can also lead to echo chambers and filter bubbles where we only see content that reinforces our existing beliefs, right?
yeah, and I mean, we've already seen how social media can, like, contribute to polarization and misinformation. So
Yeah.
imagine that amplified in a more fragmented landscape. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a real concern.
But on the other hand, a more diverse social media ecosystem could foster innovation and competition.
That's true.
Platforms would have to, like, work harder to attract and retain users, which could lead to better features, stronger privacy protections, and, maybe even a more balanced approach to content moderation.
Right. So there are definitely two sides to that coin.
It's interesting to think about all the different possibilities,
Yeah.
This TikTok ban could be a catalyst for a major shift in how we interact online.
Possibly, yeah.
And speaking of shifts, let's circle back to Mark Cuban and his potential Bluesky-based TikTok competitor.
Okay.
If he actually throws his money and influence behind this project, it could be a game changer.
Absolutely. I mean, Cuban's involvement could really accelerate the development and adoption of a decentralized social media platform.
Right. And it would be fascinating to see if a model that, like, prioritizes user control and data privacy can truly compete with those centralized giants like, Meta, Facebook, Instagram.
It's a big challenge for sure.
It's a bold move, that's for sure. And let's not forget about those other players vying for a piece of the pie. There's that new photo sharing app called Flashes
Oh, yeah. Flashy.
that's being built specifically for Bluesky.
Interesting.
And they're hoping to capitalize on, people's growing disillusionment with Instagram and his parent company, Meta.
I mean, there's been a lot of negative press around Meta lately, from concerns about content moderation to allegations of anti-competitive practices.
So it's not surprising that some users are looking for alternatives.
Right, totally.
But whether a smaller niche platform like Flashes can gain enough traction to challenge Instagram, that remains to be seen.
That's the question.
And then there's Instagram itself, which isn't just sitting back and watching this all unfold.
Right.
They've been rolling out new discovery features for Reels, their short-form video platform,
Yeah, Reel.
in a clear attempt to fill the void left by TikTok.
Makes sense. They got to try to keep up.
It's a smart strategy. They have a massive user base
Sure.
and the resources to compete, but it'll be interesting to see if they can capture the same energy and creativity that made TikTok so popular.
Yeah, that's the key.
You know, all this talk about replacements makes me think maybe there isn't going to be like one single winner. Maybe we're headed for a future where people use multiple platforms to like satisfy their different social media needs.
Interesting.
You've got RedNote for like shopping and discovering trends. You've got Bluesky for more in-depth discussions and control over your data. Instagram for its visual appeal and, established network.
Right.
Who knows what else might pop up.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
This whole situation is highlighting the fact that social media isn't a one-size-fits-all thing.
No, not at all.
And with so many different options emerging, it's going to be up to each individual to decide which platforms best align with their values and interests.
Very true.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting in a way.
Right.
This whole TikTok ban could be a catalyst for like a more diverse and dynamic social media landscape.
Yeah, it's a chance for some new ideas, new approaches to flourish.
Give users more control over their online experience too.
For sure.
But let's not forget about the other side of the tech world. The side that's not all about, like, social media trends and viral videos.
Right.
We talked about Nintendo's new Switch 2 earlier and how it seems to be more of a refinement than a revolution.
Yeah.
What do you think that says about the state of the gaming industry as a whole?
Well, I think it reflects a trend we're seeing across the tech industry, really, a focus on iteration and improvement.
Rather than, like, radical innovation.
Exactly. Companies are realizing that sometimes it's better to, perfect what you already have than to constantly chase the next big thing.
Yeah, and sometimes those attempts to fix things that aren't broken, those can backfire.
Yeah.
Like what happened with Sonos and that disastrous software update.
Yeah, that's a great example of how even well-established companies can stumble when they lose sight of what their users actually want.
It's a good reminder that listening to your audience is crucial no matter how big or successful you are.
Absolutely.
And speaking of listening, let's not forget about that United Health data breach.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stark reminder that while we're busy debating the future of social media and gaming consoles, there are some real-world consequences to the way technology is being developed and used.
Oh, sure.
This whole situation raises some serious questions about data security, corporate responsibility, and the need for greater transparency in the tech industry as a whole.
Couldn't agree more, and it kind of brings us back to a question we posed earlier. How much are you willing to share online? And what steps are you taking to protect your data?
Those are questions we should all be asking ourselves.
Definitely.
Because as technology becomes more integrated into our lives, it's more important than ever to be, mindful of the risks and to take steps to safeguard our privacy.
Absolutely. And it's not just about individual responsibility either. We need to hold companies accountable for protecting our data, and we need to advocate for stronger privacy regulations.
So what can we do? How can we be more informed and proactive when it comes to our digital lives?
Well, there are a lot of great resources available online from organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the American Civil Liberties Union. They provide a lot of information about online privacy and security.
Okay.
You can also, stay informed by following tech news and engaging in discussions about these issues. The more aware we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the complexities of the digital world.
It all comes back to being informed and engaged, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we try to do here on Byte-Sized Tech. Give you the information you need to make sense of this ever-changing tech landscape.
Exactly. Keep you up to date.
And have those aha moments that spark curiosity and critical thinking.
That's the goal.
Well said. So as you ponder the implications of the TikTok ban, as you explore those exciting new possibilities emerging in social media and gaming, and as you navigate those ever-present challenges of data security and privacy, remember that you're not alone.
We're all in this together. And by staying informed, engaging in thoughtful discussions, and demanding better from the companies that collect and control our data, we can shape a digital future that is more equitable, secure, and empowering for everyone.
Thanks for tuning into Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.